Hey guys, it's Matt. Yesterday I got my first shot of testosterone, and I'm pretty excited. I don't feel any different. So, people keep asking me if I feel different. I don't. I feel the same. I'm pretty sure it's just gonna take some time. So, yeah, well, I'll just have to be patient, I guess. I want to try to be better about recording myself, mostly because I want to make sure that I can come back and see some of these changes that, you know, how sometimes, like, when you're trying to lose weight and you don't realize that you're losing weight, and then someone says, "Oh man, you look like you've lost 10 pounds. Like, you look so good." And you're like, "Oh, shit. Yeah, thank you." I think sometimes we don't personally notice changes in ourselves. So I'm hoping that if I can see myself and hear myself, then maybe I'll notice some of those changes a little bit better because I think more likely people are going to notice changes before I do. So this is mostly for me, but I would love it if people watch my videos. I think my goal is to just try to educate and help people just be more aware of trans issues or trans struggles. And of course, every trans experience is totally different. So, you know, if I feel a certain way or I say something, it may not apply to every trans person that you meet. Okay, so that's a disclaimer. Keep that in mind. Do not assume that the way that I feel about something is how other trans people feel. Like, for instance, I don't hate my birth name. In fact, many people know my birth name and they still call me that, and we're working on that. But there are many trans people who they call it their dead name, you know, and they don't want people to use that name at all. So I prefer that people don't use it. I'm trying to get adjusted as Matt, and it's easier when other people are using that name. So you know, I prefer that people use the name Matt. But when people make mistakes and they say my birth name, sometimes it's frustrating for me, but I have to be understanding that it's just going to take some time. So, um, let me tell you a little bit about myself if you're not like one of my friends or family watching this video, which I think would be really weird because I've not ever like posted YouTube videos or, you know, done anything consistently. So it would be really cool if like random strangers decided to watch my videos, but so if that's happening, let me tell you who I am. My name is Matt. I recently came out as transgender, and I started T yesterday. Um, I have a beautiful wife named Cassie, and she's been super supportive. And I don't think I could do this without her, honestly. So I'm really grateful that I've met her and that I have her by my side supporting me. Um, I love animals, so we have four cats and a dog, and it's a little hectic, but I love them so much. And I'm actually constantly begging my wife for another dog, and she gets really mad at me. So, no more animals in this house for a while. That's really about it. I work two jobs right now, sometimes three. So I work at an elementary school as a paraprofessional. So I work in the special education department. Um, I love that job. I absolutely love what I do. I used to think that I hated kids, and I started working there, and now I love kids. I love working with children. And then in the evenings, excuse me, in the evenings, I am also a caregiver for a girl who's now 21. She has autism, but she also had a stroke before she was born. So she has some partial paralysis on her right side. Um, and I love that job as well. The family that I work for is absolutely amazing, and I feel lucky to be a part of their family. So it's less of a job and more like going to hang out with my own family. It's pretty cool. And then occasionally I work for my dad. He owns a power washing business, and so sometimes I help him dry cars at car dealerships. It's a lot of fun. That's sarcasm, in case you couldn't tell. But yeah, sometimes I help him out. That's really about it. I work a lot, and I'm also in school right now. I'm almost done with my bachelor's degree. I should graduate in October as long as I pass this last class, which I don't think will be a problem. I currently have a 4.0, and I'm hoping to graduate with a 4.0. All of my schooling is online because I work so much. So um, I'm hoping to graduate in October and then probably start grad school at the end of November, beginning of December, sometime around there. So I'm pretty busy, but I'm going to try to make it a routine for me to sit down every morning and just kind of talk about my experiences. And it may not be every day. Like if nothing exciting happens today, I'm not going to sit here and tell you about my work day. It's really not that exciting. I mean, sometimes it is, but I also have to respect, I can't really talk a lot about my jobs because they involve people and I have to respect their privacy. So mostly I want to just talk about my transition. And if I don't have something to share, I probably won't get on here and talk because I don't want to bore everybody. So um, if I have experiences, I will definitely share them with you. Or if I just have opinions on something, I'd like to share those. Um, and if anyone has any specific questions or recommendations of things they want me to talk about, I would love to hear that because then I can just hop on here and be like, all right, so somebody wants to know about side effects of testosterone, which a lot of people have asked me, and I don't think I've had like a good answer for that because mostly I'm like, oh, all the side effects are the things that I want. So anyway, so if you have specific questions or concerns or anything, like go ahead and comment on this, just or message me if you know me personally, and I will go ahead and try to talk about those things. Always keeping in mind though that I cannot speak for every trans person. I can only speak for myself. Which kind of reminds me of something that I was talking to my wife about yesterday. We were kind of talking about gender and sexual orientation, and I said that I found it interesting because I think we've all been socialized to believe that there's like this either or. So either you're straight or you're gay, either you're male or you're female. And I kind of feel like we fall on like more of like a dimension. I'm not sure if that's the right word that I'm thinking of. So something I could compare it to is like personality traits, like like neuroticism. Like let's say you fall on the high end of neuroticism, the low end, or somewhere in between. And so I think we were kind of talking yesterday about how gender and sexual orientation are very similar. Like I don't think that people are one or the other. And this may be like a confusing subject and something I might want to expand upon later, but an interesting thought that I kind of wanted to just share with you guys. So something to think about. I don't think we're completely male, completely female. Yes, I understand that there are two types of genitals, and actually that's incorrect, but I don't want to get into that because I'm not super knowledgeable on that subject, but there are intersex people. So or people with ambiguous genitalia. I don't know much about that. I actually follow this guy on YouTube. His name is Chase Ross, and he kind of talks more about those things. He does a lot of research on those topics too. So he might be a better resource if you're curious about those things, or I might try to educate myself a little bit more on those things and then try to talk to you guys about it. But I don't want to talk about something I don't know because I don't want to give you the wrong impression. So anyway, I feel like we kind of fall in this dimension and we're not either or, but we've been so socialized to believe that, you're either male or female, you're gay or you're straight, there's no in between. I remember when like I started hearing about people being bisexual and I was like just pick one, because I was also naive myself at that age. So I think we're just socialized to believe that it's one or the other, and I think we need to try to open up our minds a little bit and be aware that we really fall on like a spectrum. I think that's the word that I was looking for. We fall on this spectrum, and you can be anywhere on that spectrum. And that's one of the things we're talking about is how I hate all that we have so many labels for everything. Like I mean, if you look at like the LGBTQ community, there's not like 10 more letters added onto that name. There's like a label for everything. And I understand the importance of labels and like, because again, it goes back to how we've been kind of socialized to feel like we need to belong somewhere. We need to belong as a part of a group. And that's normal human need, is that feeling of belonging. And I think labels give us that. But I don't think that we necessarily need labels. I think that we just fall somewhere on this spectrum and we can say, I associate as male. I have some female characteristics. Like if there was a spider behind me right now, I'd be screaming for my wife to come and kill it. I'm not touching it. I don't like bugs. All right. And some people might consider that a feminine characteristic. It's just me. Like I feel male and I'm terrified of bugs. I don't know that that's necessarily feminine. It's just how I feel. It's me personally. So I feel male and I'm attracted to women, and that's me personally. And then my wife identifies as pansexual. I mean, it's kind of like she says, I love hearts, not parts. So, you know, like she has that label for herself, and I have a label as trans. And I guess technically straight if I'm identifying as see, it just gets way confusing then at this point. And so I feel like we kind of just need to be able to say, this is who I am, this is how I feel, and this is what I like. And then people can accept you or they choose not to. Anyway, so there's just some of the things that are going on in my brain, which there's a lot going on in there sometimes, and it can be too much. But I just want to share some of these thoughts with you guys and see what you think. So, please comment, message me or text me or whatever. I want to hear back from people. Um, and I really appreciate those of you who are watching. And my wife is also starting a blog, and if you're reading her blog, I think that that's really cool, and I really appreciate all your love and support. I'm a pretty lucky person, and I think so is my wife. We just have a lot of people that really care about us, and that's pretty amazing. So that's really about it. I don't want to go on forever, and I got to make sure my breakfast isn't burning. So thanks for watching, and have a great week. If I don't get back on here, I'll see you guys later.